What's going on, calculator?
Greetings and salutations, Mr. 411. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man, on this Thursday. Today is November the 3rd, 2022. And I'm feeling good today, my man.
Yes, got my research is complete up to this point. Things always can change as we talk about. But for now, calculator's feeling good about some friendly wagers that could happen this weekend.
All right. Well, like the title says for this week, time to secure the bag. And so they can do that if they hit the like, subscribe, notification button. But here we go with Crossing the Lines. Yes, welcome to Crossing the Lines with the calculator and Mr. 411. We're going to secure the bag this week, week 10 in the NCAA and week 9 for the NFL. So without further ado, here's the calculator.
Greetings, everybody. Greetings and salutations. Especially, also want to quick shout out before we start to some fans of the show. They said, "Hey, calculator, can you just give a shout out to the people at Kohl's Distribution Center warehouse?"
Okay.
They like to download the thing, and they like to download our show and listen to it when they're at work. So shout out, say glad you're tuning in, and hope we can make things exciting for you this weekend. And of course, we're going to start off Friday Night Lights. Sometimes I tell you, as a high school football fan, every time I see a Friday night college game, I start thinking about back to the day of high school. So, but yeah, Friday Night Lights are not owned to high school anymore. They do have some college games and some college games that can be exciting because after the high school games have pretty much ended, 10:30, Husky Stadium, Seattle, Washington. Yes, -3.5 for the Huskies. The line opened up actually at 4.5. So some of the action moved it to 3.5. Hey, calculator likes that, So because I love the Huskies playing in a front of a rowdy crowd on Friday night. You may say, calculator, Washington has failed to cover in each of its last 4 games. And you may also say, calculator, Oregon State is 10-3 against the spread as road underdog since 2019, which is the second best cover percent in the Pac-12 over that span. And you know what? Guess what? Vegas knows that as well. And I think that they built that into their numbers. And I think a slight correction is about to take place. Yes, some people might be scared off of the hook. And I always talk about magic numbers, 3, 7, 10, 14, so forth. And this is actually going against some of the advice I usually give. But this one, I liked it at 4.5. So 3.5 doesn't scare me. So yeah, Huskies have failed to score last 3, but guess what? 3 of those games were on the road, and Washington is 4-1 against the spread at home this season, where they've averaged over 380 yards passing. Huskies flex a little on Friday night and get the cover of 3.5. So take your Huskies and give up the 3.5.
All right. Friday Night Delight. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Brings back memories, calculator.
It does. And I don't know if you ever watched the old TV show. The movie was wonderful, but I even liked it so much I went and watched the TV series that actually came out, ran about 5 seasons. And if you've ever seen that season, you will see a lot of people on that show, little pop culture here, but that cross into say, man, that person that a person that played in that you didn't know they played in that show until you look back on it, because now they've been in a bunch of shows and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Friday Night Lights, one of my favorite memories.
Okay, well, little Cecil, what is it called? Cecil and Ebert. All right, calculator.
Oh yeah, hey, if you got Netflix, Tune It Up is a great watch.
All right, good. You added something else to my plate to watch.
Yes, sir.
Man, what's going on with the next matchup?
Oh, and Mr. 4-1, it's time when I got to ask you the question of the 3 things Mr. 411 believes in.
Okay, calculator. Mr. 411 believes in the man upstairs. What a beautiful image there. Mr. 411 believes in Santa Claus. Yes, Mr. 411 still believes in Old St. Nick.
And it's getting closer to the season, my friend.
It's not far away. And look, if we can secure the bag, it'll be a Merry Christmas.
Oh yeah.
But one more thing that Mr. 401 believes in, and he will always believe in this, is Dr. Sachs.
Yes, sir.
And the model.
That's right. The model, however, we're actually going to sway away from the model for this particular pick.
Okay.
And Dr. Sachs, he believes in what they call the long con. And what that is, he waits till the right moment and he goes against model. He don't look at the model. He goes at a team he's been following before the season starts. And when it's the right time and the number's right, he hopped on it. Me and Sachs talked about this and he said, calculator. I say, I'm feeling, I don't know what about, but the Red Raiders. And I said, that's great, Dr. Sachs. He's a friend of the show, of course. So he knows I've been watching. I've been either betting for or against Texas Red Raiders all year.
Right.
So I said, let's look at this matchup because don't know. Dr. Sachs didn't give anything. He just said he had a feeling. So I started looking into the game. I said, Dr. Sachs, thanks you for looking, giving me something to look at. So yeah, Texas Tech has been strange this season. Every game, with the exception of last game, they pretty much win or lost against the spread straight up. They've always outgained their opponents. Okay. But last week, they just didn't come out right. And I think that is what's kind of helping us kind of deflate their value a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, when you look on the other side at TCU, they're 6-1-1 against the spread. Phenomenal. Against the number, they've been good. But let's look at behind the scenes on this record, right? When they straight up thumped Oklahoma, well, guess what happened during that game? Oklahoma's quarterback got hurt in the first quarter. That game was back and forth until the quarterback, they couldn't keep up. Texas Christian, TCU covered easily. Next week, they play Kansas, another dogfight, back and forth. Guess what? Kansas quarterback got hurt. The starting quarterback got hurt. Backup comes in, late cover at the end of the game. Quarterback couldn't do anything, right? Then Kansas State. Again, I thought Kansas State was going to win straight up. Their starting quarterback got hurt after the first series. And actually, that was a competitive game with the backup quarterback until halftime. If you have a quarterback coming in, just like the Kansas game, it's hard for them to make halftime adjustments. The coaches have a limited playbook, hard to make the adjustments, install them at halftime because you have an inexperienced guy. So how in the world TCU has all these covered? And okay, one of the games they played where the quarterback played from beginning to end that they covered was against West Virginia last week. If anybody watched that game, TCU had no business covering that game. They did a little lob pass at the end of the game for a touchdown. They could have just kneeled it a couple times. Game would have been over. And West Virginia would have had to cover, but that long touchdown, another lucky cover. The only game they didn't cover this year, Oklahoma State. Guess what? Oklahoma State had their starter from the beginning, started to the end, and went all the way to overtime. And TCU wound up winning the game, but not the cover. So yeah, I don't see this happening. And the reason I say that is Texas Tech's got 3 quarterbacks with plenty of experience, can make halftime adjustments if needed. I don't even care who is starting because word on the street is the Texas Tech original starter that got hurt in week 1 could be back, got a little play time, kind of a little sloppy, but I think he comes back. I think he plays well. Even if not, I can lean on the freshman. He looks good in spots. And heck, even in and out, they could put the original backup in there to, change the pace. He's more of a runner rather than a thrower. They have so many things they could do, and it's 9.5 points. Love getting 9.5 points. Me and Sachs, we were also talking about, hey, let's look at the money line. I'm going to advise people not to mess with the money line. Why I say that is when I looked at the money line, it's at plus 260. Not a lot of value when I could rather get 9.5 points rather than the plus 260. If it was plus 300, getting 3-1 of your money, that would be more enticing. But hey, I just got an alert. One in my ear. The line is actually 8.5.
What?
Yes, I think Dr. Sachs might have put some money on this game and moved the line himself. I'm telling you, yes. So TCU's minus 8.5. So if you go and look at your buck, don't get mad at the calculator. At the time of this production, it was 9.5. It's 8.5. But hey, that's what we're going to say. You got to press this notification button. We never know when the line moves. So now it is plus 9.5. So I'm going to take 9.5 points because Dr. Sack showed me TCU. Yes, they're undefeated. Yes, great percentage against the spread. But anything over a touchdown, gotta get Texas Raiders in this. So yes, I'm going to credit Dr. Sachs. He put it on my radar. TCU's a fraud, in my honest opinion. When you look at behind the numbers, I don't think that one of the luckiest teams playing when you play 3 or 4 teams that have to play backup quarterbacks during the game. So yes, love the Red Raiders, love the 8.5. So yes, take your Red Raiders and take the 8.5.
All right, there it is. Breaking news again. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button right here. Take a look.
Yeah, because when you talk about lines, they move. All it takes is one big bet. And see, that's the thing. If you was at 9, and I kind of should have known that the money line is going to move with a number line. So when it was 9.5, you probably could have gotten plus 270, 280. Still not a good anything. I would have only done 3-1 on my money to go on the money line. But stay away from the money line. Take your 8.5 points and enjoy the win. And Dr. Sachs says that's his pick of the year. So hey, he's playing the long con. Let's see how it turns out.
Wow, pick of the year. There it is. All right. I bet there's another major pick coming up, calculator. I bet it's major.
No.
Here we go.
Big win. Epic win.
Yes. I got my times out of order because my jackpot is actually the next pick we'll be going over. So this pick.
Let's go with it.
Okay. So you want to go with the jackpot right away? Hey, we already did it, right? Even though it's out of chronological order, I'm going to go with it. Again, I like teams that are very not big time games and stuff like that, or big teams. But hey, your UTSA Roadrunners at the UAB Blazers. It's a pick 'em. Yes. And why do I have this? Well, first of all, it's probably on ESPN Double Plus, right?
Yes.
UTSA has won 5 games in a row, but more importantly, the Roadrunners have only covered one of those games. And that's what I like, because that could get them 10 to be overvalued. Again, Vegas follows trends as well as anybody. So they say, hey, this team's not doing too well. We're going to get them down, right? Well, now they head to Birmingham to face a Blazers with their outstanding run rate, Dwayne McBride, who currently leads the country, averaging over 163 yards per game. That average is the 4th highest in the last 5 years of any college program. Well, guess what? UTSA is fresh off a game where they limited North Texas to 22 yards on 21 carries, and I think a defense like that can travel to Protective Stadium in Birmingham. Yes, the winning streak continues, and hey, if all they got to do is win, because it's a pick 'em. So yes, even in a close game, I'm taking the hot team. I'm taking the Roadrunners. They're going to take advantage of that. They're going to take a stranglehold of that conference, and I have them winning and staying hot with another victory. So my jackpot, UTSA, pick 'em.
That's right, pick 'em. And some people say, what is UTSA? The United States Tennis Association?
What I'm saying? University of Texas of San Antonio, baby.
Exactly. All right. Okay. Jackpot City. All right, calculator. What's the next matchup?
Oh, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, Virginia Tech Hokies. Hey, congratulations. And the Hokies are actually favored by 3 in this one. Congratulations on everyone who cashed in on the Hokies regular season win total under. They have been abysmal this season, very overvalued at the beginning of the season. But hey, any concerns of Virginia Tech quitting on the season was put to rest last Thursday in Raleigh when the Hokies nearly pulled off a stunner against the Devin Leary-less Wolfpack. And we'll be talking about them later on, folks. The main storyline here is the status of Georgia Tech quarterback Jeff Sims, who was allegedly a game time call last week against the Florida State, but he didn't even get to early warmups. In his stead, backup Zach Gibson threw 3 passes before being replaced by true freshman third stringer Zach Pyron. Whereas Sims' elite rushing ability would give the Jackets a punching chance, neither backups could be what I would say functional again, and could be sitting ducks against a very bad offensive line for Georgia Tech. Virginia Tech's pass rush is the strength of this defense, and it grades out in Pro Football Focus in the top 40 against the 124th ranked offensive line. So with the home field crowd behind them, the Hokies can live in the Georgia Tech backfield. One concern is Virginia Tech's backfield. Both top guys are questionable, but the better of the two, Keyshawn King, warmed up against NC State but didn't play, but I think he will be available this weekend. And don't have to worry about the hook. It's a straight 3. So even if it's tied at the end and Virginia Tech hits a field goal at the end, you're still going to get the cover. So, I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm only giving 3 points for a home team against a team with 2 backup quarterbacks that are going to be struggling on the road against the strength of the Virginia Tech Hokies defense. Take the Hokies, give up the 3.
Okay. All right. Once again, Calculator, you're all over this thing.
Absolutely.
All right. So take the Hokies there. All right. Next matchup.
Oh, and people, if they follow the show, they know I am a Florida State Seminole fan, but I kind of stay away from them because, when I mix money with emotions, with your heart, a lot of times that don't mix. But hey, the head is helping me on this one. Just last week, yours truly quoted the old cliche of take records out of a rivalry game, right? And take the team that's getting the points in a rivalry game. And hey, we cashed on it. Last week we said Michigan State, Michigan rivalry, but folks, we were getting 22.5 points on there. And guess what? We only covered by that half a point. It was 29-7. So hey, we kind of got fortunate that Harbaugh just decided to kick field goals in there. So thank you, Harbaugh. However, this is only 7.5 points, right? And that could be a lot in an NFL game. In college, a lot of times people can cover that, as we've seen with TCU with a last minute touchdown, right? So yes, Miami has looked abysmal. And if you looked at that game last week, they won the game in Virginia by 2 points in 4 overtimes. Not once did they score a touchdown. Yes. Florida State has had, earlier in the season, Florida State has had a chance against Wake Forest, competitive, Clemson, competitive, although they still play worse than what they, have shown in the past. But yeah, there's not going to, and Florida State has shown explosiveness when they've blown out Boston College. They've blown out bad teams, blew out Georgia Tech last week. So Miami's going to have to score touchdowns this week against Florida State, but I don't see how they're going to do it. Virginia's defense is nowhere near as good as Florida State's, in my honest opinion. So yes, they're going to score field goals. Florida State's going to score touchdowns. I'm only giving up 7.5. I think they'll actually be covering by halftime, and I think they'll just cruise to a double-digit victory. And I'm only giving up 7.5. Jordan Travis will be too much for the Canes. Take the road team, lay the points. Florida State minus 7.5.
Okay, taking your squad.
Mm-hmm. Very rarely gotta do it. So you say, I always got to do a little extra on Florida State before I, feed them to the public.
Right. You really have to feel good about that one. And real quick, Calculator, why are you a Florida State fan?
Oh, well, I don't know if we have this much time on the show, but they, yours truly started his friendly wagers back in 8th grade. And, Christmas was coming up and, Christmas had passed because it was actually bowl season. And I was in Auburn territory up in North Atlanta, a lot of Auburn fans. And this was Deion Sanders' senior year. So it's like, it was Deion Sanders. He's flashy. Florida State was really good. But all these Auburn fans talking about Auburn was going to kill Florida State. And I said, are you guys really watching the game? I mean, we were in middle school, right? So
right.
And it's one of those, I bet you $5. And it's like myself, it's like, I didn't have $5 at the time. I was a poor middle school kid. I just spent all my money on. The reason I didn't have money is because Christmas. I spent money on my Christmas presents for family. I was like, that's okay, $5. So wound up having 7 bets, $35, $5 bets. did not have $35 to my name. So a little prayer. I said, the man upstairs, like you said, I said, if you can win me this, so I didn't have to go and borrow money from my younger sister who was going to charge me 10% interest. I said,
Wow.
if you pull this out for me, Heavenly Father, I will be a Florida State fan till the day I die. Deion Sanders returned the touchdown. One, I think it was like 9-7. It was some absurdly low. I think it was 7-3. I mean, it was a low score, but that touchdown was what won them the game against Auburn. And I won $35. Everybody paid up, which is amazing in middle school. But yeah, so I've been a Florida State fan, and they were good, and they stayed good all the way through there. And I had a bunch of Miami fans that I went to school with, so they gave me a bunch of grief on wide right quite a few times. But it was always good to have a team in the fight, year in, year out. So, but yeah, that is the story of why Calculator became a Florida State fan. It also kind of helped. I did have a cousin who went to Florida State and tried out and actually was a backup baseball player.
Wow.
But he, but no scholarship. He was a walk-on, but he was a real good baseball player. But he played for the Florida State Seminole baseball team. So that gave me another reason to cheer for him. Of course, that was after my 8th grade year, so it was kind of neat that he went to Florida State, and he didn't even know I was a fan then. But gave me a reason to cheer for Florida State baseball that year.
Well, look at Calculator taking risk in middle school, and yeah, you're absolutely right. For them to pay up, man, that was amazing. No excuses.
Yeah, it was like, man,
you're around a good group of kids.
Yeah, and $35 in 8th grade. That was pretty good back then. Back in '88.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome, man. All right, well, let's get to the next matchup.
All right. Wake Forest, NC State. We're going to stay with the ACC. I told you I had a little foreshadowing of the NC State Wolfpack. Yes, it's hard to back a team in Wake Forest that got outscored. Get this, folks, 35-0 in one quarter last week. That's right. Wake Forest was 35 unanswered points in the third quarter against Louisville. But hey, let's look at the full season of work, not just one quarter from Wake Forest. And you see that Wake Forest as a team is 6-2 against the spread, which is tied for second in the ACC with Syracuse, right? For winning against the spread winning percentage. On top of that, Wake Forest has covered in each of its last 4 games following a straight up loss, which was last week. On top of that, Wake Forest is 16-5 against AP ranked top teams since 2015. On the other side, NC State has failed to cover in each of its last 5 games, which, like I said earlier, in large part is due to their starting quarterback being done for the year with an injury. I believe that Wake Forest will not have 8 turnovers again this week, and I think they win this one easily because I don't see the NC State scoring hardly any points to be able to keep up with sometimes sometimes explosive Wake Forest offense. So, hey, I'm taking the Demon Deacons. I'm giving up the 4.5. So take Wake Forest minus 4.5 against the Wolfpack.
All right. Yeah, Wake Forest they played some solid football this year.
Yeah, they really won that quarter, and I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that and say, "Oh man, I don't want to trust a team like that. I ain't going to touch that." But I'm going to take the whole season of work, and I'm going to say 8 turnovers. That you'll hardly ever see that again. So yes, I'm going to take what I think is the better team, and again against a team with backup quarterbacks that show that have trouble moving the ball.
Uh-oh, what is that, Calculator? What is that in the air?
What is that?
What's in the air, Calculator?
I don't know.
What is in the air?
Mr. 411. That's right. It's Smelly Line time. Oh man. I couldn't let it go, Mr. 411. It was smelly all over the place. And the reason to test the smelly line, I was filling out to some of our listeners saying, does this seem like smelly? And I said, man, you really looking at the Rainbow Warriors this week? That's right, my friends. The Rainbow Warriors against always formidable Fresno State Bulldogs. This line opened at minus 24.5. And I was like, oh man, that was a Fresno State thing. Moved all the way to 27.5. What causes a movement like that? So I say, okay, smelly line time. Calculator's got to investigate. Yes, Hawaii is one of the 4 worst teams in FBS. Fresno State has won 3 in a row with backup quarterbacks. But guess what? The line movement, there is word that the starting quarterback, Jake Haener, could be back in this game. So now that's, that could be some concern. So, hey, but After a particularly arduous start against the season with a new coaching staff and a paper-thin roster, Hawaii has covered 4 consecutive games, and they're here, and they appear to be playing hard for old Timmy Chang. Yes, Fresno rallied in a fairly improbable fashion to claim the oil can trophy against San Diego State last week after trailing 28-10 in the fourth quarter. But hey, with a light November schedule that includes Hawaii, UNLV, Nevada, and Wyoming, Fresno now actually has the inside track to the MWC Mountain title. But given the emotion that they expended last week, giving what could be the overhype of starting quarterback Jake Haener, highly anticipated return, calculators calling for a drop-off this week. Yes, the lowly Rainbows Warriors season-long numbers actually continue to be deflated by the September buck keeping against Vanderbilt, Western Kentucky, and Michigan. But man, 27.5 is a lot of points. I mean, we're almost getting 4 touchdowns. And I think Hawaii can score a touchdown here, touchdown there. Fresno State would have to have practically no turnovers and would have to, and their quarterback would have to be almost midseason form. Again, he's coming back. He could have some rust. There's a lot of factors in there. And again, emotional letdown after a huge comeback that they had to have last week. I'm taking the Rainbow Warriors. I'm taking the 27.5 points. And I call Vegas on the smelly line, trying to fool me with that line movement. Take the Rainbow Warriors.
Wow, yes. 27.5. Wow, that's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
Oh, man. Okay, well, calculator, let's run to the ACC before we get out of here as far as the college scene is concerned.
I thought, is that not it? I thought that was our last one.
I thought we had one more.
I skipped one. Sorry. Yes, Clemson. My bad. Smelly line got calculated with the smelly salts. Clemson minus 3.5 at Notre Dame. I wanted to go straight to that NC State game. Over this. Well, I'm sorry, folks. Yes, calculated faded Notre Dame last week against Syracuse, and when the calculator's wrong, he says he's wrong. I was wrong. The Irish imposed their will against Syracuse, but hey, I think Clemson has the defense that can shut down what Notre Dame wants to do, and will not be able to keep up. And the Fighting Irish will not be able to keep up with the Tigers through the air. I think the Tigers coming off their bye week will be fresh, and fresh legs will serve them well in this game. Although this is just the 7th time Notre Dame has been an underdog since 2015. Or 2014, they are 5-1 against the spread in those 6 instances. However, Notre Dame has failed to cover a game at home this season, which is 0-4 against the spread. Heck, 3 weeks ago, if you look at this game ahead, the looking line ahead had Clemson plus or minus 7 or 8 points. So I'm taking a little value for Clemson being down lately and Notre Dame being up, because Clemson, in my opinion, is a full touchdown better. But hey, I'm only giving up 3.5. Again, not worried about the hook in this one, but I'm saying it could move to 4. So I think you need to take 3.5 while you can. So yes, Clemson minus 3.5. They beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not going to beat you through the air. Clemson's defense will know that, and they'll be able to stop Notre Dame what they do. And unfortunately, the calculator has some bad news in that Syracuse thing. I found out that 3 of their defenders were actually hurt in that game, and that's why Notre Dame was able to impose the will. I don't think they'll get the same luck against Clemson this week.
Yeah, and Clemson's they're on track to make that college football playoff. So, they definitely need to continue to put the pedal to the metal, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think they're going to be looking to make look good in their victories now that the playoff committee is meeting.
All right. Well, wow, man. Okay. Well, we still have a little bit more to go here. But before we do, we're going to do a little advertising right here, and then we'll jump back into the NFL for our second half of the show.
Absolutely.
All right. So here is Ash and Smoke. All right. Ash and Smoke cigars, Lamont E. Thomas, infused cigars, gift sets, cigar box purses, accessories, and more. You can reach Lamont E. Thomas at 518-61-CIGAR, 518-61-CIGAR, 518-61-CIGAR. That's 518-61-CIGAR. Ash and Smoke. cigars. So check out Lamar Thomas.
And those make great gifts for any person that enjoys partaking into a cigar here and there.
Absolutely. You know, after securing the bag calculator, I think I'm gonna have to, have to use a cigar too. All right, it's time for the NFL.
Yes, if you could talk to the producers. There we go, Mr. Producers. I like the producers are on it today. Yes. All right. As I say, I will break down what I am doing and why I'm betting the way I'm betting. Philadelphia, Houston, as you can see, I already picked these because but Philadelphia and Buffalo, no discussion. Those two teams, I think, are going to meet in the Super Bowl with the way they're playing today. So, yes, take those and don't think about it. Cincinnati, yes, looked off of this week, but hey, easy win against Carolina. Carolina's not going to, they're not going to be able to keep up. Cincinnati be able to stop what they do. So I like Cincinnati in this one. Green Bay, okay, this one is a tricky one. I'm going with the public in this one, even though it's under my 4-point spread, and I like to fade teams for them 4 points. But I just think this is a rebound game for. I don't see how Detroit can stop A.J. Dillon and the running game for Green Bay indoors. Aaron Rodgers loves indoors. Detroit does not have the personnel, in my opinion, to outscore Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to muddy it up. They're going to be able to slow down. I don't have faith in Jared Goff against a team like Green Bay as well. Green Bay has a very good history against Detroit, so that's why I'm taking Green Bay and ignoring the point spread on this one. New England, this is Bill Belichick, rookie quarterback making his second start. Doesn't take rocket science on this one. This one, I was surprised. The Chargers actually favored by 3.5, so I had to take a look at it. Well, you know what? What did the Chargers do well? Well, they throw the ball. What does Atlanta do bad? Rush the pass rusher. So Justin Herbert is going to have plenty of time to pass. Well, guess what? D'Onta Foreman runs the ball. So Atlanta's defense had trouble with the pass and the run, and I think they face an upgraded offense. Chargers love indoors anyways, and the Chargers are coming off of a bye week, so got somewhat a little healthy. They are down. Keenan Allen, I heard, I don't know how a guy that sits out all these games with a hamstring injury actually hurt his hamstring more in the bye week than a normal person. But yes, he and Mike Williams will not be available, but the Chargers still have Eckler, DeAndre Carter, Joshua Palmer, Everett at the time. They have enough weapons to withstand what Atlanta's going to bring to the table. So I love the Chargers in this matchup. Okay, this is the one. Jacksonville, I believe the Vegas are favored by 1. But look at this. 57% of the public is on Jacksonville. And you know why? Because they saw what Las Vegas did against the Saints. Word on the street, I heard Vegas had 13 people that had the flu during that preparation up to the Saints. No practice time. They shut the facility down, and they actually came with no practice reps against the Saints, and it showed. Well, they're back. They're over the illness. They're going to be ready to prove people wrong. I like Vegas big in this one. All right, Miami, Chicago. A lot of people like what Chicago's going with the defense. Well, guess what? Chicago's best defensive, even though they got whipped by Dallas, just got traded to Baltimore and Roquan Smith. Well, you think Chicago couldn't stop Dak Prescott with Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb? Why watch them try to stop Tua with Tyreek Hill and Waddle? There's a lot of secondary can't keep up with that. So hey, even though that's within the 4-point spread, I'm not messing with that one. I'm going with Miami. All right, this is the one, folks. 91%. Love Minnesota. I'm going with the home team. I'm going with the Commanders. They did us right last week, folks. They came back. Minnesota's a better team than Washington played last week. But this is, and not only am I fading Minnesota, this is under the 4-point spread that I talked about. Well, you know what? We got to go big. I like Heineke. I like Minnesota. I like fading Minnesota on the road. Yes, it's not prime time. And that's usually where Kirk Cousins excels. But something tells me that Heineke is good. I think it's going to be one of those close games at the end of the game. And I think Heineke is just going to chuck it to McLaurin. And I don't see anybody on Minnesota that can say McLaurin is a real thing with Heineke at quarterback. So, yes, I like the Commanders in this one. Also, I know this is a hard one. Arizona is actually favored by 2 in this game. But it is hard to go against Geno Smith, and the Seattle Seahawks. But I gotta get at least another one against the public. I gotta fade the public on this one, so I'm gonna go with Arizona. I'm sorry. I do think the Seahawks win the fan. This is a game, but I gotta go with the numbers. And with Vegas saying that Arizona is gonna win, and the public is saying Seattle's gonna win, that's why I'm going the other way. My heart, I got to go with my head over my heart on this one. So I'm going with Arizona, even though Seattle's been a great story this year. Rams, Tampa Bay. Again, this is another one where I could fade the public. I just do not like the Rams offensive line. Yes, the center's coming back, but it's going to be at Tampa Bay. I like the defense to overwhelm. When I say overwhelm, they're not going to Cooper Kupp still nagged up. The Rams don't have any running game, and we're going clear across town. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay on this one, just because I feel, even though I'm not a total fade of the public, I just think Tampa Bay will win this game because of their health. Kansas City, no debate. And I got to go against Baltimore. Word on the street: Michael Thomas having surgery, out for the year. Michael Thomas, so all those people that play fantasy, take that to account. I just saw we play in a fantasy with Dr. Sachs. He's already dropped Michael Thomas, didn't even waste an AR spot on him. So yes, Michael Thomas is out. But New Orleans, I think they're going to be feisty. But again, I don't think, if Lattimore's back, that is a hard place to play. Folks, let's go and check the line on this one before we make our final pick. Is it within our 4? Oh man, I hate doing this, but again, the math, it's only 2.5 line, and I'm getting 12%. I got to do it. Hey, Cleveland would have won me my week last week, and I win it, and if I would have won it with it. So I'm going New Orleans, even though I again, it's not only is it within 4, it's within the 2.5. So Vegas thinks, and if you look at it, go to Vegas, the money line is pretty much even. I mean, you're getting paid even money if you're taking the Saints. So hey, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with that one, folks. So you heard it here. You heard the logic. I got to go with it. And if you look, the over under is 48. So I think that is going to be a little bit lower. So I'm going to go with 46 for my spread. So let's lock it in. There it is, folks. So you heard the analysis. Your key games: New Orleans, Arizona, and Washington. If you win the Washington New Orleans game, I think you win your pool for that week. I really do, because those were really going to heaven against the number. The Vegas is another one. I think Vegas is actually the easy one to me. So but Washington, I think that's the one. Hey, if you win that Washington game, you can and you have a solid lead into the week, and you can change your picks at the end. You can go to Baltimore, but right now, I think that if you have to lock it in, go with New Orleans now, because you're getting a team within 3 points by Vegas's thought, and you're only 12% of people are going with it. So hey, we always say we don't want to win second place, we don't want to win third place. We want to make picks that can win you first place, and I think these are the picks that can do it.
And calculate a little inside information on the Las Vegas Raiders. Everybody get ready, buckle up for this. The Raiders did not go back west. They stayed. They stayed on the east side of the country. They went to IMG Academy, and they spent a lot of time there for their preparation for the game in Jacksonville. So they decided to stay in the time zone.
So you don't have to worry about that travel theory. That's right.
Yep. All right. Well, calculator, excellent job there with the NFL as well. And man, what a show today. Again, NCAA, NFL, secure the bag. And Dr. Sachs again. This time, no model, but Dr. Sachs still delivers.
Yeah, he still delivers, and he made the calculator do a little extra research, and I'll give Dr. Sachs credit. I like his feeling too. TCU, one of the most fortunate against the spread teams this year. Again, playing 3 teams where their quarterback gets hurt during the game, I don't see that happening. And like I said, Texas Tech goes 3 deep in their quarterback room.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that wraps it up for today.
But you know, we can't leave this gentleman out, calculator. There's NFL games on, you know, of course, the Thursday night.
Oh yeah, right after we get off. Oh my God, yeah, I was about to say.
We gotta help him.
Hey, Tyrone, is that Tyrone looking for that? Mr. 41, go and call him up and tell him that it's on Amazon. It's not on. It's not on cable anymore.
This gentleman might think it's on you know, whatever it is back in the day where you had the box, you know, on top of your TV and all that, you know, you had to press the buttons. I don't know, but one of these days, this guy right here is going to figure it out, and he'll figure out how to watch those Thursday night games.
Because hey, he might not want to watch this one after halftime because this one could get ugly quick.
Well, calculate, he better hurry up because you know like you say, he better hurry up because by the time he does figure it out, that game is going to be a wrap. But Sunday, check us out Sunday for the NCAA, more NCAA talk with Zach, Coy, Orion. We're also going to have 2 additional guests on because of the mega matchup this weekend in the college game. So if you want to want to find out what's going on there, the post game talk about it, be there. 9:30 a.m. Sunday for Triple Option. What you had to say there, calculator?
I was about to say, you know, there's a reason the calculator stayed away from the Georgia Tennessee 1 versus 2 matchup, and it's the mere fact that it's one of the biggest games in the past. You know, very, very rare you get 1 versus 2. Well, guess what? Vegas really went deep. And right now, I think Georgia is a 7.5, 8-point favorite. My personal opinion is I think Tennessee covers, but I think Georgia wins, but not confident enough to put it on my list to put any skin in the game for the friendly wager.
Yeah, it was a tough one there, and there's a lot on the line in this matchup, so it should be must-see TV.
Absolutely.
All right, just like us, must-see TV. All right, well, for the calculator, I am Mr. 401. We thank you all for watching, listening. We thank everybody for hitting that like and subscribing and sharing.
Yes,
our links and everything. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. You know, just a word out to a fan, Bo. He's the one that's been sharing it to the people at Kohl's and letting them know that and you know something that we will be he has some soccer fans that he works with. So Calculator might be doing some deep diving with the World Cup coming up pretty soon that might be able to share to the people.
Look, crossing the lines goes everywhere.
We go with that. So, it's because there's lines on the soccer field, my friend.
There's plenty of lines out there.
Yes.
I don't want to run all those lines that they have out there. There's a lot of running going on. But yes, definitely, calculator. I'll be definitely excited to get into that too as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you, Bo.
That's right.
For getting all your people to watch the show. And of course you watch it as well, Bo. We definitely appreciate you. Okay. Well, calculator, that wraps it up.
Yep.
For today. We'll do this
again. Appreciate the time. Absolutely.
All right. Okay. We are out. Have a good one.
You too.